Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is our prophets of awakening. This is our women's night, our advanced Bible study for women. It's the 16th of September, 2021. I'm gonna be dealing with the book of Adam and Eve, chapter 26. It's the story of Jared. It's tied to how children of Adam's descendants coming down off of the mountain, and I was tying it to the what we talked about the marine uh, kingdom and how that tie together with that. So I'm asking everybody to like, share, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification button. Okay, and for those who don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. It's we deal with the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, and the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses at Mount Sinai by the Lord of Hosts. With that being said, I want to say shalom and welcome to everyone. We're going to do our moment of silence, prayer, and psalms, and then we're going to do a little current events, and then go into the class. Okay, this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts and all that He's doing to bring about our deliverance from our lands, our captives. Okay. Oh Lord, we come before Thee at this hour and at this time to thank Thee for Thy praise Thee for Thy strength and for Thy love and Thy great power. Oh Lord, we come before Thee with praise because we understand now who You are, and we appreciate You, Lord. We appreciate Your love. We appreciate Your wisdom. We appreciate Your consistency, and we appreciate Your patience and understanding. We understand Your position in heaven and in earth. Therefore, we come this day seeking love, wisdom, consistency of spirit, patience, and understanding. Peace be unto You, Lord. Okay. So, somebody have a song they want to read?
Shalom. I have Psalms coming from Psalms 35, a prayer for rescue.
Okay.
Plead my cause, O Lord, with them that strive with me. Fight against them that fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler and stand up for mine help. Draw out also the spear and stop the way against them that persecute me. Say unto my soul, I am thy salvation. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt. Let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord chase them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of the Lord persecute them. For without cause have they hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. Let destruction come upon him at unawares, and let his net that he hath hid catch himself. And to that very destruction let him fall. And my soul shall be joyful in the Lord. It shall rejoice in his salvation. All my bones shall say, Lord, who is like unto thee, which delivered the poor from him that is too strong for him. Yeah, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him. False witness did rise up. They laid to my change things that I knew not. They rewarded me evil for good, to the spoiling of my soul. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned into my own bosom. I have behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bowed down heavenly as one that mourneth for his mother. But in my adversity, they rejoiced and gathered themselves together. Yeah, the abjects gathered themselves together against me, and I knew it not. They did tear me and ceased not. With hypocritical mockers and feasts, they gnashed upon me with their teeth. Lord, how long wilt thou look on? Rescue my soul from their destruction, my darling, from the lions. I will give thee thanks in my great congregation. I will praise thee among much people. Let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without a cause. For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. Yeah, they opened their mouths wide against me and said, aha, aha, our eye hath seen it. This thou hast seen, O Lord. Keep not silent, O Lord. Be not far from me. Stir up thyself and awake to my judgment, even unto my cause, my God and my Lord. Judge me, O Lord, my God, according to thy righteousness, and let them not rejoice over me. Let them not say in their hearts, I. So would we have it. Let them not say, we have swallowed him up. Let them be ashamed and brought to confusion together that rejoice at mine hurt. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor that magnify themselves against me. Let them shout for joy and be glad that favor my righteousness cause. Yeah, let them say continually, let the Lord be magnified, which hath pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. And my tongue shall speak of thy righteousness and thy praise all the day long. Psalms 35.
Okay. Anybody got any comments on that? Anything stick out?
Shalom.
Okay.
What really sticks out to me is your enemies and those that laugh behind your back and wish you evil. I'm going through a lot of that right now.
Okay.
And it's like the Lord of hosts is just revealing it to me. Like I
Right.
didn't see it before, but it's like he's
Right.
opened my eyes and he's letting me see who my enemies are.
Okay. So what do you think it is? It's because of what you believe now or what?
Well, I think it was there all along, but I
Okay.
didn't see it. Like when
Okay.
you're in the truth and he's leading you and guiding you, he
Right.
just opens your eyes to lots of things.
Okay. 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 Um, yeah, so we had current events. Anybody got any current events? Okay. I got a couple. I don't know if anybody heard about this, but it's supposedly uh, uh let me see. Yeah, right here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, it's Austin Energy. This the general that's over I think he's over the Department of Defense, Secretary of Defense, Lord Austin. It says now a memo is issued Wednesday by the Secretary of Defense, Lord Austin, urging all Pentagon employees and contractors to report suspicious cases of Havana syndrome. So it's supposed to be this is a mysterious neurological illness that emerged years ago among U.S. Personnel in Cuba. All of a sudden, it's in the Pentagon. Says the memo, which refers to cases as anomalous health incident, said that over the past several years, numerous Departments of Defense employees have reported a series of sudden and troubling sensory events whose symptoms include headaches, nausea, and loss of equilibrium. The cases occurred uh, predominantly overseas, according to the memo, which urges those experiencing symptoms to immediately leave the area. Okay, if you believe you have experienced a sensory event with the new onset of such symptoms, immediately remove yourself, co-workers, and or family members from the area and report the incident and symptoms to your chain of command, security officer, and medical providers. Austin wrote, each incident will be investigated in order to help fully understand the nature of the incidents, according to the memo. More than 200 American officials, including diplomats and military personnel, are known to have been afflicted by the illness since its first cases uh, were reported in 2016. Half of the known incidents have occurred among U.S. intelligence officers, and dozens of new cases have been reported in 2021 alone. Okay, let's see, read a little more. It says a 2020 report by the National Academies of Science found directed uh, pulse radio frequency energy was the most plausible explanation for the symptoms, which have been reported from all the populated continents, including on the U.S. soil. So far, the U.S. intelligence community has said it has not determined the cause of the incident or whether a foreign actor is responsible. Informally, current and former officials have speculated the cases are the results of attempted intelligence collection by Russian government operatives using directed energy technology to gather information from electronic devices, while other governments, including those of China, Iran, and Cuba, are also among those suspected. So, like I was saying before, I was telling you about this another characteristic of the harps. That's what that is. So they ain't trying to talk about it, but like you said, they used in this let me see what they call it, energy technology, so they can send out these beams, and they can detect, or they can cause people to send out a frequency and cause you. They can send a signal out to you or a particular person or group of people and have them do what they want to do. Down the rap. I'm gonna use video play. Okay.
We've been covering these sort of talks and ambitions and pie in the sky fantasies about a Maricopa style phony audit in Pennsylvania. And it feels like it's coming to pass. I know there are a lot more levers that Democrats in the state pull. But are you concerned by this grab and subpoenas that have been approved for every Pennsylvanian's personal information?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be clear. They are risking a identity theft catastrophe to thrice audit an election that Fox News called for Joe Biden over 10 months ago. And they're spending millions of taxpayer dollars to do it. The bottom line is this, is that I believe that this will ultimately end with the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. But the simple fact that they are going this far and they're willing to give seven.
Okay, I think I went to the next video. Anyway, so yeah, anybody heard anything about this Havana virus? Nobody?
What kind of virus did you say?
Savannah. I just, yeah, nobody heard about that. It's, they say it's only affects intelligent people. People in, high up in intelligence. It's like I said, it's the energy. They say that the cause they think it is from foreign governments using energy technology to try to uh, uh, abstract. Extract information from our databases. But like I said before, you got harps, and it has these different frequencies. They use it to deal with the tornadoes, to intensifying tornadoes, to do earthquakes. But they also have it's a characteristic of harps that mind control. They can send out frequencies and send out subliminal messages to a group of people or to a particular person and cause them to do certain things. So that's what that is, but they're not really zeroing in on it, but that's what that is. So like you said, like they were just saying, if that happens to you, you seem like you have a lapse of memory or semi blank out or whatever. They saying get out of the area, remove yourself from the area. So why are you saying remove yourself from there? Because it's a beam. It's a beam. It's a laser beam or ray. They detect and concentrate into a certain area, which to whatever they beaming it there for. That's what that is. Like I said, it's the same reason when they keep seeing these like schools of fish, different types of fish, dolphins washing up on the shore by the numbers because of when they send that beam in the ocean, whatever gets come in contact with that beam, whether it's birds flying in the sky and they cross through it, or whether it's fish in the sea, it kills them because it's a intensified beam, and whatever comes across its path, you know, it's really really bad on animals because they pretty much uh they got what they call that I can't think of what they call that with those animals, but it messed them up, messed their sensory system up, pretty much kill them instantly. Instinct, they have instincts. So it's like a geese, certain time of the year, they automatically gonna go up and fly north or whatever direction they got to go in. So they come across that beam, it automatically scramble that, throw them off. So yeah, they didn't came a guys was in the woods hunting, and they come up on a flock of turkeys, and all of them going around this tree, like about 20 of them. They just going around the tree. They've been thrown off. That whatever it is they doing with these frequencies or whatever, they had throw them off. They just going around in a circle, all of them around this tree. Yeah, ain't this something? So imagine what it's gonna do to the human mind or the body if they come in contact with it. Anybody got any comments on that? Okay, got another one right here. This is which is ain't nothing but a big old show, but they got see if it's gonna come up. Okay, you see that? This computer bugging out for some reason. Can you see that?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, it says it's a sad day in America. Randy Jackson backs Nicki Minaj over being bullied into the vaccination. Anybody familiar with what Nicki Minaj been doing over the last week? She been talking. She been talking against the vaccination,
Yeah.
saying that right. So now this guy Randy Jackson, you should know him. He done came out. He done came out and sided with her. Ain't there something?
Yeah,
No,
it's a trip how they silence people.
Right,
And if it go against what they're saying, then they will just cut you off.
right. So I'm gonna read some of it. It says, "Okay, man, I am getting come on." It says superstar Randy Jackson threw his support behind Nicki Minaj on Wednesday, following her post about how people should pray about the jab vaccine and not be bullied. I support and echo Nicki Minaj's intelligent on the advice to use prayer, critical thinking, not to be bullied into making a very important decision about your body and your personal health. Jackson tweeted on his hundred and thousand, tweeted to his hundreds of thousands of followers. Though, yeah, they don't look good. Not for them anyway. Well, like I said, it ain't nothing but a setup, a stage. They got all that stage. Okay. Okay. Got one more.
Did you see when France was protesting this week?
I haven't.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they getting it started.
Okay. Okay. Play this right here. See what? Okay.
Wow. Look for something big. Look for something massive. You know, I've taken a break the last 2 days. Please like and share this video, get it out virally. To everybody you can.
So you got any feedback?
yeah, getting a little bit.
Okay. So it's not like it was.
No, not as bad as it was.
Can't rule why, because this is just incredible. I've let it settle in just how bad off we are over the last few days, over the weekend, after Joe Biden's speech, after basically just witnessing our worst nightmare here in the United States of America. Everything that our troops have fought for, everything that our Constitution, Bill of Rights stands for, and to now be in this environment of massive division and willful segregation once again in the United States is absolutely appalling on every single level humanly imaginable. And now the merger of the US government with private corporations requiring 100 employees or more to abide by all these new rules is the very definition of the word I can't even say on this camera anymore. So it is bad. It is worst case scenario, everything that we've predicted, a giant crisis on every single fundamental rule that exists in the world today here on the 13th of Monday. In fact, in 2 days' time, on the 15th, we will have active resegregation in restaurants and places of business in the state of Hawaii as well. In fact, there's a lot of lawsuits being launched. You're probably reading about a lot of job losses and resignations right now. So it is by far an end of day scenario. It It is absolutely the worst domestic event I have ever witnessed in my personal life. As an American who loves this country and loves people for who they are, regardless of your political views, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of your race, your sex, your gender, and certainly regardless of your health. So we know all that. There's a lot of people talking about it. I think you guys understand how dire it is, but I'm here to share with you what comes next and how to be proactive in the worst case scenario, the worst environment that we have ever been present in world history, domestic history, because we have some monumental things on the horizon. And here's what I think we're going to do next.
Man.
Plan for this. I touched on it a few videos ago. The dollar crisis will be in focus, intentional. All this will be intentional. Trust the freaking plan. I think there's a high likelihood that they don't raise the debt, that Republicans hold out on Democrats and basically cut off funding to the U.S. government, that there is a debt default here in the United States of America that's completely engineered to do what? Shock the financial system, to trust the plan, move us to the new one that they've always intended from day one, hearkening back all the way to those tragic events of 2001, which we just celebrated the 20-year anniversary after leaving $84 billion worth of equipment to the Taliban that are supposedly our enemy, to 2008-09, which was the greatest, most giant wealth transfer that ever has occurred in Western civilization, which amounted to trillions of dollars of U.S. taxpayer bailouts. And now this, an engineered plan to crash the dollar, to get rid of the petrodollar in the U.S. coinage, fiat as world reserve, and move us to an entirely new crypto-based blockchain system, which was always the plan. Now, a dollar crisis, a debt crisis, a default, like we saw in the Pigs Nation, Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, there's a few others in there in 2008-09, I think just foreshadows the debt crisis we're going to have here in the United States. Bond defaults, massive hyperinflation that they're already warning about is out of control and worse than they expected. The Fed said it's like 5% based on their numbers now, which really it's probably 20%, 30%. Who knows how bad it is? The cost of goods, we're seeing supply shocks, people running out of food, problems at the grocery store, can't source enough semiconductors and chips. Suddenly, everything's gone off the shelves, right? Very convenient that they'd create a situation like this at this very particular time in history. So expect more of that. Expect that plan. Again, that's their plan. And the goal, for those of you that don't know, is to introduce CBDC, central bank digital coins, which will be controlled by the states, and marry it with the greatest opportunity of our lifetime, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Litecoin was in the news today. I'll touch on that in a minute. I've got new videos coming at school. Check those videos out. I'm about to release a new 1000X pick worth the price of admission. Getting in right now at school today. Make sure you freaking subscribe. Click that link below. BitcoinRich.com. This has always been the freaking plan. So let's talk about Litecoin. There was news that came out today that wasn't the truth about Walmart partnering with Litecoin. We saw this huge green candle wick. It's kind of funny. It was like rocketing up. I caught it earlier this morning at like 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, and I'm checking out my portfolio. I'm like, wow, this is like a really big move. It turned out that that news was false and retracted. The whole market settled. And I view what we're seeing today as a massive buying opportunity. I think we're at the bottom. For example, like if you look at Ethereum, all the technicals that I watch, all the fundamentals, things we talked about at school, this appears to be the bottom before the secular renewed second wave of the bull market, of which I believe we're going to hit new all-time highs. Bitcoin's going to rocket to 100,000 plus, 200 plus thousand, I think, this year. And I think we're going to see Ethereum, the derivatives of Ethereum, many of our picks at school will do very, very well. Another reason to get in now and learn about this stuff, click the link below before it's too late. Because we're in a fractured world right now. We're in a fractured environment where I don't even know where capitalism is anymore. I mean, the best country in the world right now looks like it appears to be El Salvador, which is not taxing Bitcoin income or profits. I mean, honestly, I might have to go down and buy some real estate myself over there, because any country that embraces freedom and capitalism, true capitalism, is going to win in an environment where Joe Biden and the Democrats' proposal for the corporate tax rate is higher than communist China. That's a fact here in the United States of America, what they're proposing. So this infrastructure bill, these trillions of dollars that keep getting spun out by the Treasury Department, backed by nothing, engineered debt crises, the inflation problem that we're seeing that I would argue is hyperinflation, the supply shocks, the material shortages, in my opinion, are all by design to transfer the wealth further out of the hands of the middle class, make them susceptible to a universal basic income and socialist type policies, what they've always planned for from the very beginning. In fact, I'm going to show you a picture of two really famous hedge fund managers here in a minute. They're up on the screen. Kind of a joke, but you understand what I mean. These are the real people in power in the United States of America. In fact, politics mostly is a farce. The two-party paradigm is just that, an illusion. There's no real difference between Democrat and Republican. Okay, this is about financial engineering and a financial wealth transfer and moving into an integrated, revised global system that they've always intended for generations. And now suddenly, every checkbox is being checked off. Everything's conveniently falling right into their hands, just like they had planned for. Debt crisis, dollar collapse, massive inflation, job losses. I mean, you should start to understand who the problem is. It's not what's going on with health. Okay, it's politicians that are causing this great atrocity on society. We're seeing asset bubbles form. We're seeing all kinds of disruptive policies taking place right now. And it is absolutely terrible on every single level, not to mention just for your freedom, but economically, financially, and for just middle-class Americans that are trying to get by. It's such a terrible time. So I'm going to be doing some incredible video footage at school. Click the link below. I got a new report coming out today. I'm going to go over.
Okay. Any comments on what you heard? Is it making any sense? Okay. Yeah, like he said, it's everything that you see unfolding, that they planned it all. Yeah, it's coming to a head. Everything that they're doing, you know, they set it up a while back and they done brought it to where it's at right now. That's all we're witnessing. Like I said, you can't see what's going down, you know, something ain't right, because you should be trying to brace yourself and position yourself, get in a position where you can deal with what they're getting ready to do. Okay.
Do you personally feel that this will come to a head before this year is out?
Well, it's kind of ironic, of this whole situation, because earlier today I came across this. You know, I'm gonna give everybody information in a minute, but I came across this lady named is Callie Sitchin, and she went back to she talking about a lot of stuff. I'm gonna give you the videos and get everybody to watch it, because I can't play it. I can't play it. But she's talking about how one of the things was that, if you remember that clips that came and went across the South.
Right, I remember.
Well, it went from one part of the South across the other one. The other part is gonna make an X, but that's coming in 2024, and it's gonna come from the other direction and make an X on the South, in the South. So it's putting the X on the South, marking it out. So what she's saying is, and it's, you know, it's like, wow, maybe it got my attention. So the first flash and the first eclipse was in 2017. So the last one, when it comes, it's gonna be 2024. So that's 7 years. That's how the Most High works. So So when you go back to Daniel, go back to Joseph with the Pharaoh, he said he had 7 years of plenty, you know, and told him to prepare during those 7 years of plenty because 7 years of famine was coming. So the X is about America being X'd out, and it started in 2017. So by 2024, it's gonna be over, and that's what everybody keeps saying. Everybody's saying they feel like it's gonna be 2024 when we leave here. So I thought that was interesting, but I'm gonna give you information in a minute when I finish this. So yeah, her name is Callie. Callie. Last name is Sichen. So so like I said, it'll make all the sense in the world to me because it's something seriously going on with America. Too much stuff happening to it, and there ain't no way it's going to survive either. It's like it's being like I said, it's a slow demo job on it. Okay, so I was looking for another uh, feature to add to this to the prophets of awakening from a health perspective. So I'm gonna try to jump it off tonight. Got this video right here. But matter of fact, this lady that's on here is the lady I'm talking about because she's a she's a jack of all trades. She's a herbalist. She's a um, astrologer and lecturer. She's doing a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna play this right here. Let's see. Okay, she on here with her granddaughter right here. Okay. It's her right here.
Thank you so much, Layla. Thank you for having me. We are highlighting my namesake, Mama Moringa, which is the plant Moringa oleifera. In 2001, we were invited to an evaluation in Senegal of a program where they gave to the women who were in childbirth, um, gave them moringa in the clinics all over Senegal. And that's changed the entire population of newly born children, the health of the mothers, the health of the toddlers, and the health of the babies who were nursing. And that is because moringa has all of the nutrients that the body needs. A to zinc. Vitamin A, it really has a large quantity of vitamin A, the iron, the selenium, the minerals, the calcium, higher calcium than milk does. And they tell you to drink your milk because of calcium. Well, Moringa has that. Moringa is for everyone. It's good for babies, it's good for toddlers, it's good for nursing mothers, it's good for adults, it's good for the elder. It's good because it's a natural um, vitamin and mineral source. It regulates the blood sugar. It regulates all of the systems in the body because it gives the body what it needs to operate. vitamins and minerals. A, the B vitamins, C, even vitamin C, that all of the vitamin E, protein. It is a source of complete protein, and this is a vegetable source of complete protein, something that is told that there isn't such a thing, but it is. And moringa is a vegetable source of a complete protein. Now, this can be added to your food. We have it actually in powder and we have it in capsules. Now, this product, which we have available, mamamoringa.com, we have this available in powder and in capsules. Now, I try to take it every day. I know your mother gives you and the other children moringa as well. And this is one of the reasons why you guys are so smart, and basically healthy. And so I recommend this for everyone. You can get it at mamamoringa.com. This is one of the products. Actually, we have many Moringa products. This is, of course, Moringa Power Plus, which has a bit of some rainforest antibiotics in it, which help to uh, boost the power of the moringa. Let me remind you, too, that moringa has been thoroughly tested by the National Institutes of Health, which it actually approves of or decides on the efficacy of so many products here that are given over the counter and used in medicine here in the US. And
Okay. Is
the
anybody
National,
familiar with this moringa?
Yep.
Aqua, Eliana, wasn't you talking about that a couple of months ago?
Yep, I'm familiar with the moringa plant. I even have moringa tree seeds to actually grow the tree. I have some here at the house. I use
Okay.
it in my products. I use it when I make teas. I use it when
Okay.
I made a hair oil. It's good for scalp and hair growth. It's a miracle plant and it's really
Okay.
good for healing. It's way more calcium and more nutrients than kale and spinach.
Okay.
So it's a miracle plant.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna play a little more of this. It's another video on the this, so I'm gonna show you how it looks. Okay. I'll play a little bit of this.
Moringa. I'm just going to wash them and I'm going to dry them, and later on I'm going to powder them. So I'm just going to do this up. This is just water. And the next stage will be putting them into a dehydrator. Okay, I'll just put them into a colander and I'll give them a shake so it's rinsed them up a little bit. Next stage is to put them into the dehydrator.
It kind of look like kelp to me.
Which is here. Pardon my camera work. There's a few branches and stuff on here, but I was just going to remove the leaves later. I find it easier. Okay, I'll come back later on after I filled up all the trays. It's just leaving enough room for air to get in between the leaves. Any dead leaves I'll just take out as I go. I removed some of the stalky branches, so it's mainly just twigs with small leaves on, so that's that bit. And that's my dehydrator. There's 5 trays in there. They're all loaded up, but not too much, just enough to get air through them all. And what I'll do now is I'll just turn it on and run it at 40 degrees. It's got a 40 degrees Celsius, that is. That's got a thermostat in it, so that controls the temperature. Probably about half an hour I'll take the bottom tray off and put it up the top and keep doing that until it's all done, and then I'll powder it later. Okay, these are dried now.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of taking the leaves off the stems.
Okay. So, yeah. Anybody else have anything to do with anything they know or anything about these moringa leaves that they can share with us?
Well, they are edible. You can cook them. You can also make a tea with the fresh leaves as well. I've
Okay.
grown the moringa for the last few years. Uh, I like them better raw because the flavor is not so strong. Once they get into powder form, the flavor is kind of strong.
Okay. But it's healthy.
It is healthy. I
Okay.
like moringa.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, what I'm doing right here is before I go into give this information on this lady, Miss Callie, I'm gonna open up for some questions and comments for anything. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything they heard today or that they came across during the week while they were studying or reading or investigating?
Well, Brother Leonard, we got that book that you have been bragging about, but we was able to get it. It has
Talking about
uh,
Gad?
the book of Samuel, the seer, Nathan the prophet, and Gad the seer.
Okay.
Brother
What
Leonard.
you come up with?
Now, goodness gracious, the book of Samuel the seer is got, at least the book that we got has got so much hijack in it. It's not even funny. Said that the devil wrestled with Jacob, and Jacob wrestled with the spirit of wickedness, and that he is the one who gave him the name Israel.
Okay. That
It
probably
said
that's probably ain't the same book. Is that a separate book from Gad and Samuel? I mean Gad and the book of Gad? Or are they all one book?
they are separated, but they're all compiled in one book.
Oh, that probably ain't the same one. I got the book I got is of the book of Gad is a separate book. The book of Gad by itself. And then I got the book of Samuel is by itself. Yeah,
It got
that's what I was saying about earlier. When I was back in the day, I was searching for those books and it wasn't nothing out there. It had the stuff they had was whack. And then I came across the book of Samuel that I read about a couple months ago about Elam, about Bathsheba's father praying for her to marry a king and all that. That's a totally different book from the one you got.
I
And then
read that part about Samuel in Samuel where when he was praying, and then he was saying, "You praying so loud, basically the heavens can hear you praying."
right,
That was
Uriah,
right there.
Uriah heard it.
And then the book of Nathan was trying to say that King David was beating on Bathsheba.
Right, okay, yeah, them ain't the same books I got. Yeah, that's a different book. That's probably coming from the way from what I'm hearing is from the Midrash, and the 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 Tomar, because those Edomites, because they believe that they can marry a man can marry a 3-year-old girl,
That's
all
not.
that, yeah. So that's what that's coming from. You got to be able to rightly divide that.
Yeah, I was trying. I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. I couldn't.
Right,
It was disgusting.
right, yeah, okay,
Brother Leonard,
okay,
do, do you know about the Old Testament Pseudo Pigrapha?
yeah. It's two of them, two
Right.
books, right? Yeah, I got
Yeah. Do you
those.
have that? You got those
Yeah, I
too?
got
Okay, yeah. I
yeah.
got those too. Because they have like different like different transcripts from different
Right,
people. That's what I was trying to figure it out because they got Hellenistic works too in there.
right. Well,
Yeah.
actually, when they started talking about the canonized books, all that's in the pseudepigrapha and all that was a part of where they decided to get the books they put in the New Testament. They got it from all those books, and
Okay.
and I was showing you how that in the Library of Alexandria, those are Edomites, that's mixed with Gentiles, mixed with Greeks. They Hellenized Edomites, but they got us thinking the Israelites. They the ones that was in Alexandria, Egypt, with our records, and they was superimposing stuff on there, looking at what the prophet said, then writing their own books based off what they found in our records, and making their own books.
Okay. So, because I was noticing they have like an apocalypse of Adam.
Right? Yeah, that's what that is.
So, is that from the hijack or is that some good drop?
Well, if you got to read it. When you read
You
it, you can
gotta go
put them.
through
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you got to go through it. Right,
Yeah, because they got one for Ezekiel too. And
right,
Ezra has a fourth book.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's full book of Ezra. That ain't good.
that ain't good.
Nah,
Okay.
nah, right.
Okay.
I tell you something good to read to get a feel for what I'm talking about is the letter to Aurelius.
Okay.
That's when and that's what they get. They got all this tied into the New Testament when um they got 12. They got 12. Uh, they got us thinking the Israelites, but the Edomites. They got 12 Edomites, 6 Edomites from each tribe, and brought them to Rome, and they that's how you get the Septuagint. And
Right.
the Septuagint means 70 because they got 70 sages, so-called rabbis together, and they redone
Right.
from Hebrew to Greek because they didn't want to deal with the Hebrew. They was Edomites, Hellenized Edomites, and they wanted the scriptures in Greek. That's how you get Septuagint.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because I was reading the life of Adam and Eve, and they was talking about when she had Cain,
Right.
and she said he came out looking like light.
Right.
It's interesting though. Okay, so just wondering about this one.
Right. So like I was saying, on that particular situation right there, that's what I was saying about when I mentioned the fact that you go to when they say when Noah was born, he was born albino,
Right,
right? But see, it's Cain the one was.
right, and it's
See
in
that?
there.
Right.
Yeah,
It's in there, but they didn't flip it all around. But you have to you have to have, like I said, you got a foundation. Then you're able to start spotting that type of stuff.
right,
Right.
right,
Because cursed only mean one thing. They be turned taking the melanin out. They be turned white. So it's Cain that was for the mark. The mark that was on Cain wasn't his forehead. He took the melanin from Cain. Cain was white. Albino. Yeah.
right. Yeah,
But they done flipped it around. Like I said, what they did was they denigrated our forefathers and raised theirs up. Made everything that was bad in the Most High sight, they made it good. And they made what the Most High said was good, bad. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me get this here right quick. Um, anybody else got anything anybody else got any questions or comments about anything? Okay. Let me take this off.
Can you hear me? Hello?
We hear you.
Yeah, I got my computer tripping out. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Okay. So like I was saying before with the lady, her name is Callie. It's Kali. That's the first name. The second name is Sichen. And what it is the name of the video, when you want to bring it up on YouTube, is Cephas, the rise of the black man, right? And so what it is 4 parts to it. So I figure we'll talk about it. We can talk about it tomorrow. Some of it tomorrow and Saturday, you know. But I'm just gonna give you the video. It's like I said, it says Cali, Kali. Then the last name Sichen, and it's Cephas, Cepheus, rise of the black man. So the Cephas, what she's telling on there, the Cephas is the North Star, and then the things that she bring up that I thought was interesting was one of them was the X, the X that's that's in the South, the one that started in 2017. She talks about that, and then how this from 2017 to 2024 is a 7 year period, and the Most High bring his judgment is on America in between those 7 years. Okay, then she talks about that the Cephas is which is a North Star, but it's perceived as an Ethiopian man, and he's supposed to be the Redeemer. So I'm not gonna go into all that until everybody watch the video, watch the 4 episodes. We're gonna talk about it. So anyway, then she says that she go into a lot of in-depth information about America being the land of promised land, right? And she debunks the 400 year prophecy. She debunked that, and then she talks about how the Red Sea that in the Bible is in between California and Utah. So I just thought that was interesting. So you want to check it out.
Wait a minute, you said she debunks that or she supports that the Red Sea is between California and Utah?
She supports it.
That's what I thought. Okay, go ahead.
Right. She supports that. Then she, like I said, she debunks the fact that the 400 year prophecy said that's not true. And then she talks about, like I was saying before, it's the whole the Mississippi River was awash with pyramids. When Columbus and all them got here, it was pyramids all up and down the Mississippi. Yeah. So just like I said, it's 4 parts to it. So we can check it all out. Then we can talk about it. It's Cali, Kali, and the last name Sichen. Cephas, Rise of the Black Man is the name of the video. It's like 4 parts to it. Okay.
Brother Leonard,
Okay.
you know the X that you was just talking about that's supposed
Right.
to cross back over. You know, in the Hebrew alphabet, that's Tau, and that means a mark or sign.
Right.
And the numerical equivalent is 400. But isn't that interesting?
Right. Yeah, that is. That is.
How you spell her name again?
Kali. And then the last name is Sichen. Okay. Right. So okay, with that being said, so another thing about this this is just something that came to me. I was, reading and doing some research, and I'm gonna read out of before I go into the with Adam, the book of Adam. I'm gonna read from the Apocrypha, something here that I want to shine a light on. Okay, let me get it. second Ezra. Okay. So in second Ezra, man, well, in second Ezra, I'm in second Ezra chapter 12, when he's describing to Ezra about the four beasts. And it says, I'm gonna start reading. It says, and I'm going somewhere with this. It says, this is the meaning of the vision that you have seen. As for the eagle that you saw rising from the sea, it is the fourth kingdom that appeared in a vision to your brother Daniel, but it was not explained to him as I now explain it to you. I have explained it. Behold, the days are coming when the kingdom will arise on the earth, and it will be more terrible than all the kingdoms that were before it. More 12 kings will reign over it, one after another one, but the second, who is the reign, will rule longer than all than the 12. This is the meaning of the 12 wings that you saw. As for your hearing a voice that spake, that came not from his head, but from the middle of his body, this is the meaning. In the midst of time of the kingdom, no small struggle will arise, and it will be in danger of falling, but it will not fall, but will regain its former glory. And as for you seeing 8 additional wings springing from his wings, thus this is the meaning. 8 kings will arise in it, whose time will be short, and whose years will be fleeing, and 2 of them will fall when the middle of the time draws near, but 4 will be reserved for the time of its end begins to approach. But 2 will be kept until the end. And as for you seeing 3 heads, this is the part I want to talk about. And as for you seeing 3 heads resting, this is the meaning. In the last days, the Most High will raise up 3 kings, and they will renew many things in it, and will stress the earth and those who live in it with greater oppression than all who were before them. That is why they are called the eagle's head. For it is they that will bring his wickedness to a head and will bring him to his end. And as for you seeing the greater head disappear, one of them will die in his bed, but in torment. But as for the 2 who are left, the sword will devour them. For the sword of one of them will devour the one who was with him. But he too will fall by the sword in the last days. As for your seeing 2 additional wings crossing over to the head on the right side, this is the meaning. It is these that the Most High has kept for the eagle's end. For each reign was short and full of disturbances, as you saw. And as for the lion that you saw roaring from out of the forest and speaking to the eagle and rebuking him for his wickedness and his words that you have heard, it is the anointed one whom the Most High was kept until the end of days, who will spring from the posterity of David and come and talk with him. So anyway, so it says that at the very end is where we at. He said that it's 3 heads reserved, and at the time of the vision, he told they was resting. So it was 3 of them. So he said they was resting because they're gonna awake at the very end of time. And so I was looking at that, and you got to go back to the Vatican, right? The Vatican is a country in itself. It's a city state, and then London. London is a city state, so it's got a king, president, whatever you want to call it, over that. Over London, you got a king. Over Rome, and then you got America, Washington D.C. is a city, a country within a country within itself. It's a city state. So the 3 heads that he said he had at the time of doing Ezra, those 3 heads rested. They hadn't came into existence yet. So I was looking at that. So there it is, right there in your face. Rome, the Vatican, which is a city state. Washington D.C., a city state, and London. And they're the ones behind, like you said, these three uh, entities right here that cause way more deaths and wickedness than all everything else that happened in the world. But I thought I'd shine light on that. Any comments? Okay, everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now nobody have no comments. I'm gonna go to the lesson, and it's I'm in the book of Adam and Eve for those who have it, and I'm in chapter 26. And what's going on is just during the time of Ezra. During the time of Jared. Let's look at it in King James right quick before I start reading. So I'm in the book of Genesis, and it says, chapter 5. Chapter 5 says, if you start at verse 6, you're going to see that Seth lived 105 years, and we got Enos, and then you keep on going, you're going to get to chapter 7, verse 17 of chapter 5. And all the days of Mahalalel was 895 years, he died. And Jared, that's who we're looking for, that's who we're dealing with in the book of Adam and Eve. And Jared lived 162 years, and he begot Enoch. And Enoch lived after he begot Enoch. Jared lived after he begot Enoch 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. So we see right here, Jared is listed, and he's one of those 10 patriarchs that lived before the flood. They call it the antediluvian age, before the flood. So we're gonna pick it up. What the book of Adam and Eve is doing is expounding on what happened during the time of Jared, that Jared lived on the earth. So, and I was telling you how that when you understand what's going on, these men is a title. Melchizedek is a title, and from this title been passed down from Adam on down. Melchizedek is, he's actually the ruler of the earth. He's the king of righteousness. So what's happening right here? Jared in charge. We're picking it up with Jared in charge now because he's the oldest one. The other ones died out. He's the oldest. So it says, I'm in chapter 20. Let me see. Yeah, chapter 26. Then Adam took Eve, and they began to return to the cave. Let me see. I'm in the wrong place. Okay. Make sure I got the right thing. Okay. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay, so I'm in chapter 72. I think it is. Yeah, it's an L, two X's, and a two. Of the book of Adam and Eve. It says, "Then Satan and 10 of his hosts transformed themselves into maidens with more grace than any other in the entire world. And they came up out of the river." See that? So this going back to well, the study we just had, first of the week, about the marine kingdom. It says, "And Satan and 10 hosts, 10 from his hosts transformed themselves into maidens and with more grace than any other in the entire world. They came up out of the river in the front of Adam and Eve, and they said among themselves, 'Come, we will look at the faces of Adam and Eve, who are of the men on the earth, and they are beautiful, and their faces look different than ours.' Then they came to Adam and Eve and greeted them, and they stood amazed at them. And Adam and Eve looked at them also and wondered at their beauty and said, 'Is there another world under us which with such beautiful creatures as these in it?'" So we see right here, it's almost like a verification about what we was talking about, because and then the Most High even mentioned it. He says that uh, under the earth, there's nothing that he don't know about that's in the heavens, on the earth, under the earth. Then he talks about when he's going to regather the Israelites. He's going to regather them from all the places, and he also include under the earth. And so right here it says right here, "Come, we will look at their faces, and we look at their faces. Come, we will look at their faces of Adam and Eve, who are of the men of the earth. They are beautiful, and their faces look different than ours." Then they came to Adam and Eve and greeted them, and they stood among amazed at them. And Adam and Eve looked at them also and wondered at their beauty and said, "Is there another world?" See that? Which it is, another world under us, with such beautiful creatures as these is. And the maiden said to Adam and Eve, "Yes, indeed, many of us were created." Then, then Adam said unto them, "But how do you multiply?" And they told him, "We have husbands, we have who have married us, and we bore them children who grew up and in turn married and are married and also bear children." So we see that's a lie, but I want to show you something. It says, so these fallen angels and Lucifer is father of lies. So it says, uh, okay, 5. And Adam said unto them, "But how do you multiply?" And they told him, "We have husbands who have married us, and we bear their children who grew up and in turn marry and are married and also bear children." I'm skipping something. So it says, it says, "They are beautiful and their faces look different than ours." Then they came to Adam and Eve and greeted them, and they stood amazed at them. And Adam and Eve looked at them also and wondered at their beauty and said, "Is there another world under us with such beautiful creatures as these are?" And the maiden said unto Adam and Eve, "Yes, indeed, many of us," right here, says, "Yes, indeed, many of us are created." See, that's the same thing he did in the garden. He's telling semi-truths. They was created. See that? Then he says, then Adam said unto them, "But how do you multiply?" And they told him, "We have husbands." And that's where the lie come in at. So he told a half truth up here. They were created. Then he says, and they told him, "We have husbands who have married us." Now it's a lie. And bore them children who grew up and in turn married and are married, and they bear children. Thus we increase, O Adam, and you will not believe us. We will show you our husbands and our children." Then they shouted over the river, as it is, as if to call their husbands and their children. And men and children came up from the river. And every man came to his wife, and his children were with him. But when Adam and Eve saw them, they stood speechless and were amazed at them. Then they said to Adam and Eve, "See, all our husbands and our children, we should marry Eve as we have married our husbands, so that will you have children as we have." Right? This was the way Satan was to deceive Adam. Satan also thought to himself, God at first commanded Adam concerning the fruit of the tree, saying to him, "Do not eat of it, or else you will die." But Adam ate of it, but God did not kill him. He only gave him by law death, plagues, and trials, until the day he shall leave his body. But if I deceive him and do this thing and marry Eve without God's permission, God will kill him. Therefore, Satan worked this apparition before Adam and Eve, because he sought to kill him and to make him disappear from off the face of the earth. And meanwhile, the fire of immortality came over Adam, and he took of he thought of committing transgression, but he restrained himself, fearing that if he followed the advice of Satan, God would put him to death. Then Adam and Eve got up and prayed to God, while Satan and his host went down into the river. See, they went back in the river. So wherever they living at is down in the water. Let's say, while Satan and his host went down into the river in front of Adam and Eve, so they would not see them going back to their own world. So there's way more going on in the sea and in the water than we know. Anyway, let me find this about Jared. I just want to show you what I was talking about when we was dealing with that marine kingdom. Okay. Any comment? Okay. Yeah, here we go. Right here. Okay, let me read this. Okay, I think this is 17, chapter 17. I think it is. It said, then Jared kept his father's commandment and arose like a lion over his people. This is when Jared became in charge. And he fed them the righteousness and innocence, and commanded them to do nothing without his consent. This was because he was afraid for them that they would go down to the children of Cain. He gave them orders repeatedly and continued to do so until the end of the 485 years, 85th year of his life. And at the end of these years, there came to him a sign, as Jared was standing like a lion before the bodies of his father, praying and warning his people. Satan envied him and produced a beautiful spectacle because Jared would not let his children do anything without his counsel. Satan appeared to him with 30 men of his host in the form of handsome men. Satan himself was the oldest and the tallest among them, with with a fine beard. Then said, then stood at the mouth of the cave. They stood at the mouth of the cave and called out Jared, who was in the cave. He came out to them and found them looking like handsome men, full of light and very beautiful. He was in awe of their beauty and their looks, and wondered to himself whether they may not be of children of Cain. And he said also in his heart, the children of Cain cannot come up to the heights of the mountain, and none of them are this handsome as these appear to be. And among them, these men, there is not one of my kindred. So they must be strangers. Then Jared exchanged a greeting with them, and he said to the oldest of them, my father, tell me how you are so wonderful, and tell me who these are with you. They looked to me like strange men. Then the oldest began to weep, and the rest of them with him. And he said to Jared, I am Adam, whom God made first. And this is Abel, my son, who was killed by his brother Cain, whose heart was influenced by Satan to murder. And this is my son Seth, whom I asked the Lord to give me to comfort me when I no longer had Abel. Then this is my son Enoch, son of Seth, and that the other one is Canaan or Enoch, and that other one is Mahalah, son of Canaan, your father. But Jared remained wondering at these appearances and at the words of the elder to him. Then the elder said to him, do not stand there in awe, my son. We now live in a land north of the garden, which God created before the world. He would not let us live there, but placed us inside the garden below, which you are now living. After I transgressed, he made me come out of it, and I was left to live in this cave. That was when the great and horrible troubles came on me, and when the time of my death drew near, I commanded my son Seth to tend to his people well, and my commandments is to be handed from one to another to the end of generations come. But Jared, my son, you live in a beautiful region, while you live here in misery. But Father Mahalah informed me that a great flood would come and overwhelm the whole earth. Therefore, my son, fearing for your sake, I rose and took my children with me and came here to visit you and your children. And I found you standing in this cave weeping, and your children scattered about this mountain in the heat and in misery. But my son, as we missed our way and came as far as this, we found other men below this mountain who inhabit a beautiful country, full of trees and of fruits and of all manner of lush green vegetation. It's like a garden. When we found them, we thought they were you, until your father Mahalah told me uh, they were no such thing. Now, my son, listen to my advice and go down to them, you and your children, and you will rest from all this suffering you are in. If you will not go down to them, then arise, take your children and come with us to our garden. There you shall live in our beautiful land, and you shall rest from all this trouble which you and your children are now living in. But he heard these words from the elders, Jed was confused and went here and there, but at the moment he found none of his children. Then he answered and said to the old one, why have you hidden yourselves until this day? Right? So let's look at that. Hold on 1 minute. So he says, so look at this. He says, and the elders replied, this Satan, is your father said, if your father had not told us, we would not have known it. Then Jared believed his words and was true. So the oldest said to Jared, where did you turn? Let me see. Come on. Then Jared believed his words and words were true. So that the elder said to Jared, wherefore do you turn about so and so? And he said, I was seeking one of my children. Tell him about my going with you and about their coming down to those about whom you have spoken to me. And when the old one heard Jared's intention, he said to him, do not worry about that right now, but come with us and you will see, and you shall see our country. If the land in which we live pleases you, we shall all return here and, and and take your family with us. But if our country does not please you, you shall come back to your own home. Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to find. It says, then he answered and said unto the old man, Jared, talking to the old man, Satan, why have you hidden yourselves until this day? So we see right here who was hidden. They tell us Jesus Christ was hidden in the bosom. But we see right here who was hidden. See that? Why have you, Jared asked him, why have you hidden yourself until this day? He the one that's hidden. It's him. See that? So 24. And when the old one heard Jared's intentions, he said to him, do not worry about that right now, but come with us, and you shall see our country. If the land is in which we live pleases you, we shall all return here and take your family with us. But if the country does not please you, you shall come back to your own home. And the old one urged Jared to go before one of his children came, talk him out of his decision. Jared then came out of the cave and went with them and among them, and they comforted him until they came to the top of the mountain of the sons of Cain. Then the old one said to one of his companions, we have forgotten something by the mouth of the cave, and that is the chosen garment we had brought to clothe Jared with. And he then said to one of them, one of you should go back, and we will wait for you here until you come back. Then we will clothe Jared, and he shall be like us, good, handsome, and fit to come with us into our country. Then that one went back. Okay. But when he was a short distance off, the old one called to him and said to him, you stay there until I come up and speak to you. Then then he stood still, and the old one went up to him and said to him, one thing we forgot at the cave. It is this, we forgot to put out the lamp that burns inside the cave. Both the bodies that are in there, do it and come back to us quickly. That one went, and the old one came back to his fellows and to Jared, and they came down from the mountain, and Jared was with them, and they stayed by a fountain of water near the houses of the children of Cain, and waited for their companions until he brought a garment for Jared. And when he went back to the cave, put out the lamp, and came to them and brought an apparition with him and showed it them. And when Jared saw it, he wondered at the beauty and grace thereof, and rejoiced in his heart, believing it was all true. But while they were staying there, three of them went into the houses of the sons of Cain and said to them, bring us today some food by the fountain of water for us and our companions to eat. So let's look at that. We was dealing with Tuesday. It says right here, well, Monday, about the question was asked about the ephod, the three measures, right? So let's look at this. And we went and we saw where three angels, righteous angels, came to Abraham, and Abraham fed them. So we see right here it says, but while they were staying there, three of them went into the houses of the sons of Cain and said to them, three of them went in, right? Bring us today some food. Same thing in Genesis 18, by the fountain of water for us and our companions to eat. But when the sons of Cain saw them, they were in awe at them and thought, these men are beautiful to look at, and we have never seen such before. So they rose and came with them to the fountain of water to see their companions. And they thought them so very handsome that they called aloud about their places for others to gather together and come and look at these beautiful beings. These they gathered around both men and women, right? Then the old one said to them, "We are strangers in your land. Bring us some food, good food and drink, and bring yourselves and your women, so we can entertain, refresh ourselves with you." And when those men heard these words of the old man, every one of Cain's sons brought his wife, and another brought his daughter, and so many men came to them, everyone calling out to Jared either for himself or for his wife. But when Jared saw what they did, his very soul wretched itself from them, and he could not taste their food or drink. The old one saw him as he wrenched himself from them and said to him, "Do not be sad. I am the great elder. As you shall see me do yourself in like manner." Then he spread his hand and took one of the women, and 5 of his companions did the same in front of Jared, and that he should do as they did. But when Jared saw them doing their wickedness, he wept and said in his mind, "My fathers never acted like this." And he then spread his hands and prayed with a fervent heart and with much weeping and begged God to deliver him from their hands, right? So we're going to look at that in a minute. So no sooner, look at this, no sooner did Jared begin to pray that the old one fled with his companions, for they could not abide in a place of prayer. So see that? So I showed you how in let's look at it. I mean Daniel chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12. We talked about it a couple times a while back. Maybe it slip by y'all. I don't know. But chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12. And so we gotta keep this in mind, right? 6. And one said to the man clothed in linen, we've been over this over and over again. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, "How long shall it be to the end of these wonders?" And he held, look at this, and he held, and I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the rivers of the water, and he held up, see that, held up his right hand and his left hand under heaven. So he spread his hands. He spread his hands up to heaven. And so this is what Jared did. That's what Jared did. Jared spread his hands up to heaven, and then he says right here, immediately they fled. Satan them fled because that's the image of Yah. When they standing there with their hands spread up like that, it's the image of Yah. When you go to the scriptures of the Lord of hosts and look at the Hebrew letters, it's a symbol of a man with his hands spread. So they fled. So anyway, the point I want you to see, what people been looking over it, that's all they was doing. The Israelite males. When you go back and look at all the images they show you with the Israelite with his hands chained, he got his hands spread to heaven. He threw his hands up to heaven, and he put the chains on, but he's got his hands spread to heaven, but they ain't getting no response from Yah, like Jared did. Jared threw his hands up and spread his hand to Yah, and immediately, I'm gonna read that in a minute, he came. But we had been cut off. That's what he told Daniel. There's any nation that came to a fool, he'll cut Israel off. So that's all you see. All the slave documentaries and the images, you've been looking at that, but ain't knowing what it is. Even they got the one where the slave on his knees with his hands spread to heaven. So they throwing their hands up to Yah for him to deliver them from all this. Same thing with Jared found himself in. He went with them, and then when they got over there, Satan showed his real true colors. And took the girls, probably little boys, and went into them right there in front of him. And then he threw his hands up because that was abominable. But Yah delivered him. But when you go back to the transatlantic slave trade, you see all over the place images of these black slaves with their hands thrown up in the air. But they ain't getting no relief. So yeah, cut them off. So let me read that. So 41 says, Satan, then he spread his hands and took one of the women, and 5 of his companions did the same in front of Jared, that he should do as they did. Look at this. But when Jared saw them doing their wickedness, he wept and said in his mind, my father never acted like this. And then he spread his hands, yeah, and prayed, throwed his hands up in the air, and prayed with a fervent heart, and with much weeping, and begged God to deliver him. That's what our forefathers doing by the banks of the river, on the boats everywhere. But they weren't getting no response, and begged God to deliver him from their hands. No sooner did Jared begin to pray, spread his hands to heaven, then the old ones, Lucifer, fled with his companions. They could not abide in the place of prayer. They couldn't abide there. Then Jared turned round about and could not see them, but found himself standing in the midst of the children of Cain. And then he wept and said, "O God, do not destroy me with this race." Yeah, with this race, right? Concerning which my fathers have warned me. For now, my Lord, that God, I was thinking that those who appeared to me were my forefathers, but I have found them out to be devils who lured me by way of this beautiful apparition until I believed them. But now I ask you, God, oh God, to deliver me from this race, among whom I am now staying, as you did deliver me from those devils. Send your angel to put me out of the middle of them, and do not have their power within myself to escape from among them. And when Jared had ended his prayer, God sent his angel into the middle of them and took Jared. See that? And set him up on a mountain and showed him the way. And he gave him him wise advice, and then departed from him. See that? So that's what our forefathers were doing. Like I said, when you get an opportunity to go back and you're dealing with anything, images or pictures of translated slave trade, you don't see that. They got their hands spread, but they've been cut off. Most High told them the heavens above is like brass, and the earth beneath is like iron. You ain't getting nothing. Ain't no angels coming. See, an angel came right here and got Jared and took him up, put him back up on top of the mountain. And that's what they were trying to do when they ran into these wicked ass slave traders and these people on these boats. The ones that was captured, they were bringing them to the seashore. They was throwing their hands up, but the Most High indignation that came to a fool. Any comments? I'm gonna read a little more of this chapter 18, then I'm gonna close out. Any comments?
It's really good.
Everybody good?
The book of Adam and Eve is really good and thorough, and it show you how the devil can't come in his real true form because we don't know what's up. He got to come and look all good, shine himself all up, and put on this disguise. But his whole angle is to separate you from the Most High. It's to separate you and get you to come down to wherever he at, where his whack at, and he got to be deceitful to do it.
Right, exactly. It's anything you do. So when you find yourself and you head on with a lie, you shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be surprised. Yeah, because he's the father of lies. His children, just like the father, and spread lies all over the place. So I'm gonna read a little more of this in chapter 18. It says, the children of Jared were in the habit of visiting him hour after hour to receive his blessings and to ask him his advice for everything they did. And when he had work to do, they did it for him. But this time when they went into the cave, they did not find Jared, but they found the lamp put out and the bodies of their fathers thrown about, and voices came from him by the power of God that said, Satan is an apparition, has deceived our son, wishing to destroy him, and he destroyed as he destroyed our son as he destroyed our son Cain. They said also, Lord God of heaven and earth, deliver our son from the hands of Satan, who produced such a great and false spectre before him. They also spoke of other matters by the power of God, but when the children of Jared heard these voices, they feared and stood weeping for their father because they did not know what had happened to him. Okay, yeah, so you see that. See how that went down? Okay. Yeah, so my main thing was to show you that, you know, on several occasions they show you in these different uh, books that uh, these angelic beings coming up out of the ocean and up out of the water. So it's another dimension, another world they coming from, and that world still exists. They're still doing that. So let me read this right here. It says the eclipse that in 2017 involved never before star alignments, which are identical to those in the Revelation 12 and 1. This eclipse traveled across the U.S. 7 years later. Another eclipse will appear forming the X, right? That's what I was saying. They already got the first mark, and they say an eclipse is going to come in 24 and make the X. But in between those two marks that was made in 2017 and 2024, 7 years. And so we see all this drama started with America. It really intensified after that first mark. And so we see what we see is, it's all kind of stuff happening in America. And it ain't gonna be able to take too much more. Okay.
I got a comment, Brother Leonard. When
Okay.
I was reading about Jerry and how when they went back, the lamps that was, they was in the book of Adam, where Adam and Eve and all the descendants, Seth and all of them, where their bodies were. But wasn't we just reading recently, and I can't remember what book you was reading out of, I don't know if it was that or what, where the Most High took
what? Okay.
body in the cave of treasures.
Okay, you went blank for a minute. What'd you say? Hello?
My computer is tripping. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
My laptop is tripping, but
okay.
I'm saying that in the book of Adam and Eve, it was talking about Jared having the place lit up in the cave of treasures where he kept Adam body wrapped up, Eve body, Seth, and all of his forefathers. But I don't know if it was on the Shabbat or one of these other classes that you was reading from us. I don't know if it was from the book of Gad or what. But you was talking about, the book was talking about how the Most High took Adam body.
That was Moses. That was Moses he took. He took Moses up on Mount Nebo and then took his body. He said Moses was gathered into his father. And he hid Moses' body, took it because of Lucifer was looking for it. Samuel.
But I'm talking about whenever you was reading about Adam and Eve, and then Adam died 6 days, like was 7 days before Eve died. And then she started talking to the kids, trying to teach them things. And then she died and was gathered. But I thought we read.
I ain't never read that. There must be somebody else.
That was the book we was reading.
Oh.
That was the book that was Adam and Eve.
We be studying, I don't know, these books.
Yeah, I know. I ain't never read that.
Yeah, it's that pseudo-pigrapha book.
Yeah, pseudo-pigrapha, okay. Right.
And one more thing. I thought you was gonna play that video with the lady that you had told us how to spell her name, or you just wanted us to look at that on your own. I thought you was gonna look at
I got jacked up behind that. That's a company that she was dealing with. They like got backed up. So I'm giving everybody else to look at it, then we can talk about it. I'm not gonna take no chance on playing it. You know what I'm saying? Copyright.
Oh.
Right. So I ain't gonna play that. I got 90 days before that. Right. So I was telling everybody to did you find anybody find it on YouTube?
They're posted in the chat.
Okay, yeah. So it's Cali, Stitching and Cephas, the rise of the black man, 4 parts to it, and she got a lot of information there. So you probably want to write down whatever it is that she say that interests you, and then we can talk about it because she brought up a lot of stuff. But the main thing, what happened was at the end was, and then it goes to show, like I was telling you everybody about on this line about having a foundation. She said she's not apt with the Bible. She's not that apt with the Bible. So
She not what?
She not studied in the Bible.
Oh.
Yeah. But she mentions 3 people that she followed. Big Judah, so this other guy. I know she mentioned Big Judah, and she mentioned 2 other guys, and they all deal with America. But she said at the end, like I said, she made a point to let you know that she's not adversed in the Bible. But like I say, it's a lot of information. She got a lot of information that makes a lot of it's up for topic, up for debate. So that's the reason I was giving you the videos. And so if everybody want to watch them, then the ones that watch it, we can talk about it a little bit when I open up for Q&A on tomorrow night and Saturday. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So
Brother
while we on this,
Leonard,
okay.
I wanted to know if everybody, since we in Adam and Eve, if you could read chapter 8 and chapter 9 tomorrow, and we can discuss that. Why night and day were created.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So the thing about that, what we didn't do last week was I need to get somebody that's going to read a song for the women's class next week. They got any volunteers?
I will.
Who's that?
Cynthia.
Okay. 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 So right. With that being said, let me do this right quick.